I love that song. Happy Monday, everybody, and
Especially on a
welcome to
Monday.
Brown Bag Bets. Powered by BetSperts, we are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, it may look like we're in the wind together. Unfortunately, we are not. Andy, how's it going, bud?
Someday soon, it's going great. Someday soon, I will return. The Win does always, not just because they are our title sponsor, but it does hold a special place in my heart, as it was the first place I ever stayed in when I went out to Vegas many moons ago. So, and as always, do remember, if you live in one of the states or can get to one of the states, the sweatshirt offer is extended through this week yet. You can get a risk-free bet of $500 in Colorado or New Jersey, $1,000 in Michigan, and of course,
$1,000
a free hoodie. Make sure to sign up for those. Tell your friends, tell your family, get them all on board. Get many, many sweatshirts, many free bets, and yeah, they're good. I've gotten a lot of nice DMs from people who've gotten their sweatshirts now, saying how nice they are, and they are nice. You're wearing yours today. Mine I spilt soup on mine yesterday. I told Noopsat it's in the wash. The wife's taking care of that. I'll have mine on tomorrow. So with that, it's going to be a fun week. 2 golf tournaments. We have the WGC Workday and Puerto Rico, which is like an off-brand. It's the field is mostly at the good one, but it's a bit of a split field here. So there's 2 fun tournaments you can bet on, and one's not in Europe. So it's a little better than trying to decipher some of these European odds, or the European ones are trickier for me, I think. And then also, this snuck up on my ass, but conference tournaments, there are legitimately, it's funny, I'm looking at one of my bets for today. Some of these teams have a bunch of games left, and there are some teams that are done last week. Their season is finished. They're done. Conference tournaments, there's one starting on Thursday. I cannot think of which one it is, but it's one of the early, it's probably Horizon or Big South or one of the ones that does it early anyway, but
yeah, usually one of those.
That, so look for some previews. I'll be blogging on all those, and I'm very excited. Conference tournament time is the happiest season of all, and it's going to be a mess. There is one day, I believe it's just the Saturday before Selection Sunday, 15 conference championships that day, which is too many. For I'm trying to sound excited.
That's spectacular.
It's a mess. That's too many. They should have more on Friday. It's a bit much. So I will be, as in every year, I will be placing futures on every single conference tournament. Every year there's a few more books that offer it, which is fun because I get to shop around a little. So I will be looking forward to that.
We love it. It's great. But we do have some sports to talk about today. I'll jump in first, as always. What do you think, Andy? Should we start in the association?
The association. Yeah, my team fired their coach last night.
I saw that, and then they hired a new coach maybe like an hour later. Not that was all planned out beforehand.
It was like all late night NBA stuff. And I mean, if you lose to the Knicks, maybe you should get fired. But they made a wild comeback and then ended up losing by 3 or 4 anyway. But I think that was writing was kind of on the wall for young Saunders there. And yeah, they hired another coach. It wasn't like an interim thing. So I think you hit that one on the head. Pretty sure they had that one all lined up and ready to go.
Yeah, it's a shame for Saunders. That's a tough position to be in. Karl Anthony Towns is obviously very gifted, but what he lacks on the defensive end is a real problem, especially given that he's going to be the big guy on the floor. D'Angelo Russell, a nice guard, but it doesn't seem to be as good as he was for kind of that one season in Brooklyn. Whatever happened there doesn't seem to be replicable, at least it is yet to have been in Minnesota. So Saunders got a tough shake of things. I'm sure he'll find a nice assistant coaching job and hopefully get a second chance on things at some point. But we'll see. And no, actually, I don't think Flip Saunders is still alive.
No, a couple years ago.
That's what I thought. Anyway, we're focused on the today, and the Charlotte Hornets plus 12.5 points against the Portland Trail Blazers. Taking a look at my numbers, obviously I start there. I make this closer to 8, actually just a little less than 8. Then I start to look at the schedule here. Utah has just been on a tough schedule. They played Boston, Milwaukee, Miami, Philadelphia, and then 2 games at Los Angeles. So they come back home to play Charlotte before a game on Wednesday against the Lakers and then back out for an East Coast swing. I mean, this is a sandwich spot, a letdown spot, whatever word you like to use for it. This is just a classic example of that. So like Charlotte here, they've been very competitive. I think this is a great opportunity for them in terms of, what Utah should be thinking about and focusing on in their schedule. And as I start to look at the matchup, Charlotte generates a lot of what they do from the guard and forward position, where a lot of Utah's defensive strengths are against bigger players. Yes, Gobert will be out there protecting the rim, which makes a difference. But I like the matchup too. I think Charlotte has got the players here to pester the Jazz. So let's go Hornets.
Yeah, that's an aggressive number you set there. If it's 12 and a half, you're quite a bit off. So hopefully, and once you get up there too, like in a game that's not a blowout, these aren't college kids. Like if you could feel a lot better about a game like this if they're down by 8 or 9 late, because the NBA, they're not fouling down 10 with a minute left. Like they're just playing those games out. Things don't get as squirrely. So hopefully we can get home on that. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, this one hasn't moved too much yet. Would play this down to 11, frankly. Like I said, I make it closer to 8, and that's before counting in some other things there. So I like this edge for the Charlotte Hornets here. I was kind of hoping that they would have beat the Clippers last night. I might have sprinkled a little money line here. Maybe I will anyway myself just for some fun, but sticking with the spread here for now. And we have another underdog, the Portland Lillards. Dame Lillard got snubbed there on the All-Star starters. And as we know, for the last couple seasons when that happens, he tends to play very, very well. I expect him to have a big night tonight against the Phoenix Suns. Regardless of that, it's, again, as we start to look at some of the scheduling spots, this will be Phoenix's first game coming home after a road trip. That's always a down spot for teams like that. Underdogs continue to perform very well, especially on the road in some of these spots. So happy to grab Portland here. I have this number closer to 4 myself. So I would have the line right about here. I don't know if I'd play it much less than 6. If you want to play a 5 or something like that, you could do it maybe for half a stake, but Portland plus 6 there. And then in the same game, Andy, I don't want to go too long without having an under here. Portland, Phoenix,
I can see you were kind of getting itchy. Like you didn't have. I know. And I will say, like, it doesn't. I don't want to say like I'm weak-minded or, easily convinced, but it doesn't take much to convince me to bet something in a sport I don't really handicap or bet. As far as the, a bunch of us just bet on Dame props the other day already. In the first game, it's like, hey, we should bet Dame over. We should bet Dame over points, rebounds, assists. And I think it came right down to it if you got a bad number. I mean, I think he was on 33 for a bit, and points, rebounds, assists had to be well into the 50s. He had like a dozen assists, I believe. So everything got.
The only thing we lost was like all the 40+ wagers.
Yeah, so I'm getting right back on the horse. I'm reinvesting my Damian Lillard money right back into more Lillard props and probably just the team plus 6.
It'll be a little tougher. I looked at some of those this morning, and it seems like they moved the prices. For example, I think 40+ was in like the 240 range or something like that, and then the other night, it was even higher than that. And anyway, a couple of those numbers have taken quite a move, but I do like the under here in this situation. I grabbed a better number at 229. Posted that on the BetSperts app. So if you follow me there at Alex Christensen without a space, you should be on 229 or even 228. Still seeing some 227s around, and it's starting to tick down. Let me just see. Yeah, I'm starting to see 226.5, but maybe it's just kind of settling. I like it under this number. I have this closer to 223, just a touch over 223 myself. So really like the 229, like this 227. I think this will be a tough matchup. Dame should have a nice game here, but Phoenix has Chris Paul and a couple other pieces that should be able to slow him down. I think this game will actually be very competitive. Again, I'm on Portland here at plus 6, so I guess it's going to be a tight game. I expect it to have a slow pace towards the end there as Chris Paul and Dame Lillard take time during half-court possessions to try to get the best shots they can. So a lot of things working towards the under here, so we'll grab under in Portland, Phoenix.
It wouldn't be brown bag bets without Alex betting it under, and it wouldn't be brown bag bets without me betting on some just horseshit teams in college basketball. It's been light slates for me. A lot of one-game slates. I think I had 3 on Saturday. I bet a total yesterday. Somebody talked me into that. I was going to bet Niagara, and I didn't love them off the break again. It was second game off the break. But somebody talked to me about how poorly Siena had shot in the game before. I said, well, I looked at everything. I said, well, I do make that over a little valuable. So I ended up playing a total. I don't play a lot of totals. The live total when there was like 10 minutes left in the game was at 148 or something incredible, like 18 points over where it needed to be. And it's slowed down to a crawl, ended up going over by a couple points. Things can turn on a dime in basketball. Drives me up a wall. But back to the well tonight, Alcorn State. Alcorn State, the Fighting Braves down from Mississippi. This is Steve McNair's alma mater, I'm almost sure. And this is a tough one to like make a case for with words. Just my numbers make this team a little better than like I would have played there. I think you can get a 2 right now. I make them slightly favored. If you look at the Southwestern Athletic Conference where Alcorn is, I mean, I think 6 of the bottom 10 teams in the nation are in this conference. So, I mean, how you differentiate between the 355th and the 352nd best team is tricky sometimes, but Alcorn is a much better offense than A&M. So I'm happy to take them as a slight dog at home. So give me that unless I'm missing something. And also I'm not as worried about this one because I can't bet as much money on these. They have long rotation numbers and nobody takes big bets on these anyways. So Alcorn State +1 and a couple other ones. I just put these in at BetSperts. Yeah, twos are widely available. I try to post the worst of the number just so I don't feel like a shithead on here. But yeah, you should be able to find a 2. I believe it opened. It was +1 this morning. I was willing to bet +1 or money line, and it moved the other way. So more than happy to take that. Another cool nickname, the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks of Monroe. They will be taking on Little Rock. This is the 4th time they've played Little Rock this year. They lost both times away. They were one game was kind of close. The other one was not so much. But this is a weirdness that we're having in some of these conferences in the Sun Belt. Everybody played everybody a lot. Like Monroe played Arlington 4 times. Monroe played Texas State 4 times, I think, maybe even. Little Rock for sure. This will be the 4th time. Beat the piss out of them yesterday. A lot better at home. They had some struggles against Texas State, but Texas State is a much better team. So Little Rock is not a team I will back. I've faded them numerous times for numerous reasons. And I don't know what I can say much good about them. They're middle of the pack defense and offense in the Sun Belt. And I make this number closer to a pick 'em. So I'm happy taking just over possession with them. And
I love the Warhawks. I'm used to cheering for the Birds of War, a little-known wrestling duo from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
The Warhawks.
Stomp, cool. Clap. Stomp, clap.
Not responding to the pageantry.
I think I'm staying in this is Sunbelt. Mm-hmm. Fun Belt Monday here in Arlington. This is another one where I'm not quite making sense of how big this number is. I would have expected this to be like +2. There's some things that are not great about Arlington. Their offense is a little suspect at times, but who are they playing tonight? Let's go back to that quick. I lost my spot here because I'm looking at too many tabs for the same conference. Arlington, just Louisiana, Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns, horrid defense, great offense. It's one of those things where if you have another team that can run with you, they're going to give up a lot of points. This is probably going to be a high-scoring affair. I should actually look at this total, but that's kind of where the handicap lies in the fact that Louisiana can't defend. Arlington should be able to put a bunch of points on them. I bet if I look, they've played each other before, and there was probably an S-load of points. Let's go Louisiana, Monroe. Arlington, it looks like they did play, and there was about 175 points scored back in January. So that was a home game for Arlington. This will be away. Hopefully they can keep it within a possession, and it'll be a nice close game. That's all I got, just those 3 today.
Wonderful. Well, I got some time.
Yeah, somebody did ask. It's in Texas. Or no, this is away, so it's in Louisiana.
Oh, that's good.
I know I made that comment about
important question.
When the ice was melting for the Lake Tahoe hockey game, and they had to whatever, postponed things because it was too warm. I'm not sure why they didn't just, have a little foresight and have the hockey game in Texas instead, where it's nice.
You would think.
It's cool. It's warming up, though. It's warming up. So what do you mean you have tennis? Aussie Open's over.
There's tennis.
No,
there's always
tennis is over.
Tennis is forever. There's actually tennis on, Andy, 24 hours for the probably start. I think from starting today through Wednesday, there is at least 2 tennis matches, men's or women's, at the ATP or WTA level all day. The men are playing in Singapore, Montpellier, France, and Cordoba, Argentina. So they've got basically every time zone covered. And the women are in Adelaide. Of course, I focus on the women. An easier watch and an easier handicap for me, if I'm being perfectly honest. Laura Siegemund will start there, an underdog here at plus 180. Yulia Putintseva, very strong player, but I think we'll struggle here with some of the angles and some of the power that Siegemund's going to provide. She is the bigger player. She is the stronger hitter, steal a phrase from a lot of different tennis people. The match, I think, will mostly be on her racket here. So I'm always excited to take an underdog that's going to be in that position. Putintseva generally beats players, frankly, by intimidating them, kind of with her attitude. She screams a lot. She'll scream at you. She does a lot of goofy stuff in between points. But Siegemund actually is kind of the same way, so I don't think she's going to get too worked up about all this stuff. So I think she'll be calm and comfortable out there. Happy to take the dog here at plus 180, the German Andy.
Laura Siegemund. I guess she's my new favorite German since Gorgeous retired. She's done, right?
It's a shame. She is. I mean, we'll see if she comes back. I mean, a lot of these players retire and then end up coming back or something. Yeah. We'll see if, she does a Kim Clijsters return at some point. But she seemed pretty happy to be done. So we'll see how it goes. Another European woman, this one a Polak, Iga Swiatek. I believe she's Polish. I think pretty sure she's Polish. Minus 5.5 games. Now, a pretty big number, of course, but she's playing a woman, Madison Brangle, an older player from the U.S. who's, kind of on her way out. Swiatek is going to be well and above whatever level Brangle brings here, and she is not the kind of error-prone player that would concern me laying a big number like this. We need 6-2, 6-4 or better to win, and I think that's going to happen. We'll look to maybe parlay Swiatek with some stuff, maybe look at a 2-0 and do something with that. But I like the minus 5.5 games here. In women's tennis, it's really nice because you do have the chance to cover this 5.5. Say, for example, you bet 2-0, she loses the first set. She can win those next 2 sets by enough games to make up for it here and still cover the spread. So that's why I like that a little better than the 2-0, but might look at some other derivatives like that. One more underdog, Jasmine Paolini, someone we bet on before, who's done very well for us. The Italian plus 375. That number's starting to move down. I wouldn't play it lower than 360, maybe 350, but definitely not any lower than that. And plus 5.5 games. Again, this is starting to move. If you can get 5.5 games at standard juice, that's good. If not, start to look for plus 1.5 sets or plus 5 at plus games. But I like Paolini here. She is playing Coco Gauff, a young American, very talented, but again, 16 years old. Still putting together all the mental pieces needed, coming off a tough match against Gauff, who've been down a set. Actually, I know she won that in 3. I can't 100% remember if she dropped the first or not. But I think Paolini is the kind of player that is going to make Gauff really work hard and really take advantage of any errors that Gauff has. So happy to sprinkle the money line for a little bit, as well as the 5.5 games. And then just for you, Andy, we've got a total. We're going to go over 19
love a good
games
total.
Here. I think there's a chance this even goes 2.5, but I didn't see any 2.5 set lines yet this morning. So might sprinkle a little more on top of this one. But 19 games, 6-4, 6-3, and we push. And I think there's a great chance we see a 7-5, a 7-6 here in the first set, if not both sets. So over 19 games here on the total as well.
I love it, number one, because I love your women's totals, but also because I do need a little tennis in my life with things lightening. And just early in the week, I don't have golf sweats. So I need something
no golf
to
sweats.
wager. Yeah, and I'll probably get a little NBA in tonight. So, and speaking of that, a little preview for the week. As I did mention, we are going to get into conference tournaments. So I'm going to try to line up a couple college basketball guests for later in the week to talk some college hoops. NBA guest tomorrow, hopefully a golf guest Wednesday. It might just be guests the rest of the week. We might just kick our feet up, let them do the talking. It's a lot easier that way Basically, all I have to do is send them a link and then just make them talk for 20 minutes. We don't have to do shit. So if you are following along, if you win a couple bucks here or there, if you like what you're seeing, do give us a thumbs up on the YouTube and rate, subscribe, review if you listen to the podcast. And actually do both. That would be even better. So
we love it.
Appreciate everybody, especially the weirdos in the chat, like Ryan.
Love the weirdos in the chat.
Ryan is the weirdest guy in the chat, although Patrick gives him a run for his money once in a while. So the quickest of recaps, as we call it a Monday. It's going to be just about done. Charlotte, Portland as dogs, plus 12.5 and plus 6, and the Portland Phoenix under. And then someone in the chat just said over 2.5 sets. Plus 215 at Bet 105. That's a Heritage derivative, I believe. So you might be able to find that at Heritage as well.
That's
my
a half
college
unit.
basketball was Monroe, Alcorn, and Arlington. The Mavericks, the Warhawks, and the Braves 2 nights. And a shitload of tennis. Laura, the Fighting German, as a dog. Same thing with Paolini. I'm assuming she's Italian. Just it seems like it with
Yes,
like
Jasmine Paolini.
Jasmine Paolini plus 5.5 games and the big underdog price as a sneaky little play against a 16-year-old. Iga Swiatek with the big favorite price minus 5.5 games and the Paolini Gauff over. And that's probably it. I'm just going to call it a day from the win. From here at the win. I'm Andy. I almost said I'm Alex.
Do the win thing. Get your sweatshirts, folks.
And get your sweatshirts.
Nope, over here. Nope, over here. I never know where my finger's supposed to be.
One of these. I know it's hard. I was trying to point at people. It's backwards on that screen.
I know.
So let's hit the music and we'll regroup tomorrow. See you guys.